If something's in the news, should we talk about it? Can we talk about it? Do we go too far if we talk about something that's salacious? This type of thing happens all the time with celebrities, with e-celebrities, just people from YouTube or Twitter or TikTok. Uh, there's a lot of blame game going on now in Twitter regarding the Ed Piskor situation. The various groups have taken sides and are commenting now about who's to blame for what. Uh, we know that Ed Piskor himself wrote a letter and he chose to blame 5 specific people. So I think we should probably trust his judgment on who he blamed. Whether others are to blame, I don't know. And that's what I want to talk about. There's this idea from the people on the center right side, libertarians, conservatives, Republicans. I'm in that side of things. I'm against all the woke leftists and crazy things that are happening out there. But there's this idea. People like Gary from Neurotic or Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers will say our biggest weapon in fighting woke is to mock things, to ridicule it, to laugh at it, to draw attention to it. So they use that very effectively on different streaming shows and in videos uh, to uh, to actually get the news out that this thing is happening. This thing in Hollywood, it's terrible. They're trying to manipulate the people into accepting ideologies that they wouldn't normally. So they're throwing it into entertainment. So we're going to highlight these things. We're going to go watch terrible movies. We're going to tell you all about it. And then we're going to mock them and ridicule and shame them and all of that. And we're going to win, you know. So I agree with that. You need to expose things in order for them to get out into the public mindset, something alternative to what the mainstream media shows you. You've got to show the other side. So I fully agree with that. But where does that end? Now, anybody who's a celebrity or an e-celebrity, let's look at somebody like Ryan Kinnell. He's got 300,000 subscribers. He's an e-celebrity. A lot of people know who he is. He can go places and actually be recognized from time to time. It happens to several of the guys. So what if something bad happens with him? Are people going to talk about it? Well, of course they are. Anytime he does something that the left finds offensive, they'll talk a lot about him, and they'll really drag him on Twitter when they can. So they do that to our side. We do that to their side. So far, everybody's in agreement, point, laugh, ridicule, blame, whatever. Our side tends not to go directly to cancel culture. Their side does. So there is a difference, I guess, between us. But anyway, so if that's the method that we take, and e-celebrities are a fair target, which they tend to be, how is the Ed Piskor situation different? Now, keep in mind what happened. The girl, a few years after the fact, posted some DMs. So those are Ed's own words being posted. All right. So people then ran around to judge. From what I saw, people on the right weren't looking to cancel Ed. They weren't calling the news and saying, go interview the father. They weren't calling the art studio saying, hey, throw this guy out. I think we know who the people were that were doing that. It's the people on the other side. Now, we pointed and laughed. EVS did trash casts about it. Now, a lot of people want to blame EVS, saying, hey, you're just as much to blame. Well, again, Ed Piskor named the people he wanted to blame. And Ed knew exactly who EVS is because Ed helped to try to cancel Ethan back in the day. If he had wanted to blame Ethan, Ethan's name would have been in there. So we'll set that aside. But Ed is a public personality. Of course we can talk about him. Now, in hindsight, we can look and say, well, this was too much. Well, yeah, after the fact, when he ended up deleting himself, sure, we can all say, yeah, shouldn't have done that. But we don't consider that for a lot of other people. Let's look at Jussie Smollett and the whole Chicago 2 a.m. bitter cold, yada, yada thing. That was an actual crime. It cost a few $100,000 in police and city resources to investigate. People pointed, mocked, laughed at him. Well, what if his mindset wasn't right? What if he said, "Oh my God, I'm losing my career. I'm a laughing stock." What if he deleted himself? Would that have been okay? Well, he's a leftist, so, you know. So if people on the right are going to say, "Oh, well, it's okay for them, not for us," I don't buy that. So people are going to talk about things that are in the news. Ed was in the news. There were points to be made. We are free to talk about things. That's part of freedom of speech. If you're going to say, "Oh no, the Ed Piskor thing, the moment it was an underage girl posting DMs, everybody should shut their mouths and pay no attention to it." Bullshit. You can't do that. You have to talk about things. That's how things get suppressed because, oh no, you can't talk about it. The left would love that. Every time they screw up, they would say, "Hey, you can't talk about this. You don't talk about us. You stop that. You might hurt us." So no, we can't do that either. That's what our freedoms are all about, to be able to talk about stuff. The people who went after Ed to cancel him, they're the people who went too far because that's where, hey, there's been no crime charged, no trial had. Until that stuff happens, people shouldn't lose everything. Unfortunately, that's what happened with Johnny Depp. Accusations alone brought down a megastar, and people didn't wait for anything to happen to prove it. And then finally, years later, they have that civil case, and the agreement seems to go pretty much in his favor, more so than hers. And people say, "Yeah, well, maybe we were a little too quick to do that." What if Johnny Depp had deleted himself? He lost a crap ton, a massive amount. So I don't know, guys. I don't think the blame game here is helping anything. Uh, and I'll leave it at that. Ed named who he blamed. I do want to tie this into a little something else, though. Libs of TikTok. She goes and finds videos, usually very short ones, and it's people on the left saying stupid things. She reposts them on Twitter, and people point, laugh, mock, ridicule. Now, some of those people probably aren't even e-celebs. They probably don't even have, 20 followers. So they're just kind of normal people. And yet the people on the right side are mocking, ridiculing, and so forth. Libs of TikTok has probably posted hundreds of those videos. Can we say for sure that none of those people didn't have significant losses once their videos got out there? That their work didn't find out about it, their family, their church? I don't know. I'm betting there are people who lost their jobs, and we can't say for sure if any of them deleted themselves. Yet the people on our side applaud Libs of TikTok and say doing God's work there. And I agree. I agree. But what's fair for the people in the videos that Libs of TikTok posts, and those are people with their own words, but Ed's DMs were his own words. So there's not a difference here between the DMs and the videos. Oh, you could say one's private, one's public, but again, if something bad is happening in a DM, you should be able to post it. So if somebody is doing something really nasty, if they're threatening to Minecraft you, yeah, show the DMs. All right, that's not sacrosanct here. This is not, lawyer-client privilege or anything. But anyways, so if we're going to applaud Libs of TikTok doing that, but we're going to say, yeah, we can't talk about, the DMs from the guy to the girl. I don't see that. So I don't like that we sometimes act like the other side. Another example is Katie's channel. She does what Libs of TikTok does, but in a smaller way. She clips out stuff from live streams or longer videos or whatever to basically get the good parts out of certain videos. A lot of them are in reference to Eric July. She clips them out. People use those videos, and some of the stuff Eric says is not exactly the best and the brightest things to say, and people point and laugh, ridicule, and mock. All right, some people, obviously, other people don't. But it's not necessarily the left doing that. It's people within this right side sphere that are kind of divided down the middle on, where you stand with the situation. So people in this right space, the fellowship space, and others, Eric himself specifically, went after Katie did for doing that. But they applaud Libs of TikTok for doing what she does. That's a hypocrisy. You know that meme where they show two pictures side by side. Corporate wants to know. And the person's always saying, that's the same picture. Guys on the right, that's the same picture. You're doing the exact same thing. Libs of TikTok good, Katie did bad. Come on. So, yeah, so all of that ties together that way. And I don't know. I think that we have to stop the blame game. We have to be able to talk about things. We can use hindsight now and say we shouldn't have done this to Ed, but still, we're going to do it the next time. And we should talk about things because that's how the truth gets out. So, anyways, let me know what you think. I think that we need to talk about it in this right side space and clear the air between the factions that are currently at war on TikTok. It's not the left's fighting. It's people on the right fighting other people on the right. If you look at the latest stuff in Twitter right about now, look at EVS, Shane Davis, John Malin, Dick Masterson's in there, Nina Infinity, a bunch of others are all in there. People fighting, people trying to compromise, people trying to make peace, people not. So take a look and see what you think. And if you know how to defuse the situation, you might want to do that because this isn't making any of us look any better. Thanks.